Protect the truth at all costs. New podcast. Trademark.
When's it coming out?
Oh my God. Is it hot in here or is it this fire in the sweater?
Could it be both?
Yeah. But yeah, that's my funny answer to your very serious question.
Welcome to the Captains and Coaches Podcast. We explore the art and science of leadership through the lens of athletics and beyond. I'm your host, Tex Wilkin, and today we hit episode 100. I didn't know what I was building when I hit record for the first time. I just knew I had something to say and people worth talking to. And the first person I called, Cali Hinzman, longtime friend, law enforcement professional, and someone who has never once let me get away with anything. And she's back for episode 100. There's nobody I'd rather be sitting across from for this one. We get into feedback loops, fantastic lies, and the responsibility coaches carry whether they know it or not, and what it looks like to actually meet people where they're at in sport, law enforcement, and in life. Grateful to all you listeners for sticking with it for 100, and thank you to Cali for always helping me raise the game. Ready, and break. Oh, we're rolling. Action. Coming to you live from an undisclosed location. Episode 100. I made it.
I know. I can't believe it. And I feel so honored that you would like to chat with me on your, do you call it a centennial episode?
I don't know.
You've never been there before, so.
Well, you were number one.
Yep.
Before the official
I
kickoff.
am number one also.
You are number one.
It's my nickname.
And you were the first Captains and Coaches Podcast guest.
I know.
So now it's like
really slumming
100.
it in that first one. I mean, who really is responding to your texts and emails at that point when you have virtually there's no listeners at that point. So you're really you're digging deep. And what's Callie doing? She's just ready. I'm ready to pounce on any opportunity for attention. So
yes. And you didn't know I started a podcast. It was just like, we're recording this conversation
without my consent.
Well, it's Texas. It's a one
Yeah.
side deal. Well, we're excited to bring this to you. I took a trip up to the Pacific Northwest to catch up on life, experience, and I mean these are conversations that I live for. I had the opportunity to visit Luke, and then now I'm back with you.
Yeah, number 2, Luke, shout out, but number 1, I mean, you gotta come back to the real thing at some point.
Always. Well, I mean, you preceded Luke in the friendship
That's true.
time
That's
frame here.
true.
Well, our first episode, we explored law enforcement, your career, and leadership opportunities within that. So if you do want to check that out, it's technically episode number 3.
Oh,
But
man, that is such a
the first episode that interview
this
that I
is
conducted.
A podcast built on lies because we just spent 5 minutes talking about how I was number 1. First one, come along. How's it number 3? Just in release?
In release.
Okay, all right.
You know, scheduling.
Yeah,
you know this.
yeah. The details, the dirty details. Okay.
Well, this is in the business, but we call it transition. You bring up lies.
Okay.
I want to start with a term, fantastic lies.
Okay.
So people in leadership positions.
Is that a Liam Neeson movie?
No, actually, it's a documentary about the Duke lacrosse team.
Oh, is it really?
Well, I purposely use that and apply it because what I'm getting to is then people in leadership positions, they pump air into people's tires that are above their skill set.
Metaphoric.
So they are trying to pump these people up for all the wrong reasons, not to encourage them, but to now take time, money, and effort. And eventually those individuals, those lies catch up to them, whether it's on the field or when there's another professional that comes along and is honest with them. So now just you're in a realm where performance matters. It's not just a scoreboard. It's not just a metaphor. You're actually out in the real world where performance counts. So how dangerous can leadership be if you start to protect an ego for all the wrong reasons?
Is this a serious question?
Well, no, you said lies and I just jumped to it.
Yeah. Oh man, Tex, like we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of people protecting egos. I mean, yeah. I mean, of course that happens. Like I thrive on people protecting my ego so that I can live, you know, just live with zero consequence, ideally. But no, I mean, obviously it obvious is a real thing. I mean, like you see that kind of thing all the time, but it's kind of like we were talking earlier. We did go on a hike earlier, and I feel like we talked about this, um, a couple hours ago. But all that stuff can reach a bubble at some point. It all reaches some sort of point where it spills over, and someone, something, some problem, some issue, whether it's movement or a character trait or something, it gets exposed. And so, I mean, like you can only protect the truth for so long. Are we just talking about is this a conspiracy theory podcast? Are we protect the truth at all costs? New podcast. Trademark.
When's it coming out?
Oh my god. Is it hot in here or is it this fire in the sweater?
Could it be both?
Yeah. But yeah, that's my funny answer to your very serious question.
Well, then, I mean, you've trained officers, you've spoken with them. How important is level setting on what they need to correct for their next opportunity when they face a similar situation?
I mean, it's just it goes back to a foundational principle in, well, not just law enforcement that's built on trust and honesty and truth, but in life. I feel like if more people's job was dependent on telling the truth at all times, or you're booted, you're ostracized, like I feel like maybe it would be a good thing if that was, something that was upheld in every line of work. I'm not saying that like police work is uniquely noble, but you can be criminally charged if you're, perjuring yourself or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it falls in line with no one should be surprised if whether it's in a training capacity or a feedback loop, on a tactic or something that you're training, that you're brutally honest because and not unnecessarily brutal, but I think it's just you owe it to that person. Like you said, the stakes are really high, but also it's just the environment you work in. And I think like we've both worked in environments just throughout, and strength and conditioning is kind of like that too, where it does not pay to to sugarcoat something to the point of being like dishonest or misleading because it just all it does is waste time and energy and it just muddies the waters. And I just feel like, especially in law enforcement, you owe it to people, not only for their health and safety, but just in terms of like just their the image of themselves, like having a accurate portrayal of yourself, an accurate understanding of who you are.
Hmm.
Like you don't you want that? I don't. What's
We're not
crazy?
normal.
I know, but what's crazy is when and I think that might be something that is, like, our line of work maybe draws people who thrive on that feedback, right? Like, why wouldn't you wanna hear where your deficiencies lie and things like that? To me, it's just like, it's mind-boggling that someone would get butt hurt to the point where they just don't like they don't wanna hear it, right? They'd rather kind of live in this ignorance. But, like, to me, if I'm in a training environment, which I have been in my capacity in law enforcement, where people are tiptoeing around or they want you to, like, have the attaboys as opposed to, like, being called out in a group for making a mistake or something. And I'm like, "Gosh, I am a 41-year-old woman at this point. I do not care if you embarrass me. Like, I just wanna know, did I do this right? And if so, I know there's, some in some facet I can improve it, like, so just tell me, don't waste my time."
Hmm. Because you know, the quicker you can get to correct, then you have the opportunity to move on to the next skill that you can learn. And
Yeah.
then now we're all encompassing. We're learning faster. I did want to get to learning in a second, but sticking with the direction. So there is this uh, cyclical feedback loop that exists in all reference sport and allow you to make any connection to law enforcement. But cyclical rep where kid tries, attempts their shot, could be basketball, lacrosse, whatever it is. Then coach comes in and gives them a correction. So we give them a direction, then they did their rep, and we give them a correction, and then there's a moment where they either rebel or adjust.
Mhm.
So now if they rebel, we probably state the direction as the correction. Then they do another rep and just repeat ourselves, do the repeater
Mm.
until trying it their way breaks down and they're not getting it and they finally decide to listen to us. So then the rebel, imagine a bubble, it just starts to shrink and now they can make the corrections and adjust and it just speeds up this feedback loop and we can really get there. So the more trust that they have in us, the more relationship, the closer we are, then the smaller the rebel bubble. It's still going to pop up at time because they're,
Human.
teenage, college age human. So now the challenge with that fantastic lies, in my world, they're getting private coaches that then pump up, and maybe their correction's different than mine or different than their high school coach. And so we're giving them direct feedback. This rebellion starts to inflate, and now they stop listening to us because they know more, or we are wrong in their mind compared to the external force. And it could be a club coach, it could be a parent. Hey, don't listen to your coach. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, or it could be a teammate. So now imagine the car ride home, and then dad is just like, man, do not, Tim, what is Timmy thinking? Do not trust Timmy. Timmy doesn't pass the ball. Timmy's a ball hog. So now kid that, even though he's boys with Timmy, he starts to still tell that story
Mhm.
and it affects this loop. So rather being real efficient to correction, this rebellion just starts to explode. And I've seen it just destroy teams. So now that's why I'm so adamant on make like truly making a correction, a connection with the kids. Then we just speed up this feedback loop as fast as possible. Because a lot of stuff I do, you're very versed in and familiar with. It's warm ups. You suck at that stuff until you don't, and then it really starts to express itself in your athleticism. So just I'm curious on feedback loops, corrections, directions within your community. Is there a lot of hard charging people that let's work together for this feedback loop? Let's be the best teammates we can. Because like I'm not too familiar. Is there a coach mentor mentee relationship, or is it all teammates working together? What's the best operators that you've worked with?
Man, I have to push back on the word operator. I'm certainly not an operator. I get what you're saying, and I think that word gets thrown around pretty that was like not a slight on you, but yeah, I mean, we're police officers. But
Officer.
yeah.
Just looking for alliteration.
Got it. Um, but yes, I would say yeah, we're no different. Like you can look at a teenager that you're the benefit that you have is you have like this microcosm of like teenagers that are going through all these like, ego, finding themselves, this, they're trying to develop their own character traits. Am I the alpha? Am I the listener? Am I the whatever? They're all kind of sorting through that. Like dude, it does not change through adulthood. There's some people that are self-assured and they come to that realization of who they are a little faster, but like there's just it runs the gamut when you're in especially when you're in a training environment and the stress is kind of amped up a little bit, then you people start to like really expose who they are and what their insecurities are. And it's fun. It's like to me, I love that environment because it's like, all right, we're nuding up right now. We're all getting naked. And that's please don't make that like the show quote, but it's kind of like one of those where you're like, yeah, where you're like, all right, we're all gonna get vulnerable. Like I hope that's the
Be
training environment.
vulnerable.
Be vulnerables. Yes, another bowl plug for you. But yeah, yeah, it I like that environment. I guess to go back to what kind of people are in it, yeah, you have those hard chargers and, sometimes though, I gotta say, like, yeah, you wanna have the hard charger, but these people, including, like, myself, I'm not saying I'm a hard charger, but I have been guilty of some of the traits of somebody who, like, "Hey, let's make this correction and move on," It's not all about listening to you self-critique and walk back the last 15 minutes of performance and be like, "All right, I know I could have done this. I can, I can sustain this, but I can improve this. And I really shouldn't have, gone left when there was this open space to my right or whatever it is. Like I don't know. Yes, you can. I think you can debrief and self critique to a fault where it like almost paralyzes you, where, and especially in a team environment, because you got the rest of the team standing there and it's like, hey man, this isn't about you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just your training environment. This isn't like a let's build up Cali, no, Callie, no, 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 I can see why you made that decision because of, these variables, and so I think a lot of times, like, you can have these hard chargers that, it can dictate the flow of like a training environment, and it can stymie the flow. And I know you're all about
Kill the
flow.
drill. I hate when drill is killed. If we're
Yeah,
moving, we're learning.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, it has like anything else, it has this beautiful curve of, like, optimal time to, like, get growth and learning, and then you can just watch that train sail by, as it were, like, you just, like, see it, and then you see people start losing interest as one person is talking or
Mm-hmm.
debriefing or self-critiquing, and oftentimes that does happen in those, like, hard charge environments, and then you're just like, you know and
Yep.
again, it's like, I think it's in a way, it's a good problem to have. If you're gonna have any problem, at least you have people who are being, like, reflective and they're like, of course, we're nitpicking here, right? And but that's what that your
Well,
job is in the details. It's like
exactly.
all these things matter.
So we us leaders, you're teaching to. I mean, the key word I want to get at is differentiation. We're teaching to a bell curve at all times. There's kids that are new to this. There's kids that are maybe they're the same age, but they're different training ages. So they're all in the same class right now. So I have to make sure day one deer Bambi legs is we're still teaching the same thing. We all got to squat today, or we all got to shoot, whatever it may be. And this kid that's been training his whole life because their parents were very invested. Um, you got to teach the same lesson.
Mhm.
So that's also a challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
because then you have different preferred learning styles is the appropriate term,
Mhm.
but there's also learning velocities. So kids they're picking up stuff much quicker.
Mhm.
So that's also a challenge. So then my question to you is, when did you, I guess, embody, understand, or come to a realization where you learned how you learn? Time out. Observation. New coaches getting into the field are really smart and intelligent when it comes to programming or understanding practice plans and their sport, and really bad at people. They have high IQ and low EQ. I spent the past 14 years traveling the world teaching people how to teach people, lifting weights, understanding sport, but most importantly, connecting with people. I've taken all those lessons from all over the world and put them into a new course, Why They're Not Listening, Coaching Today's Athlete. If you want the first lesson free, head to the website listen.captainsandcoaches.com to learn more. And now, back to the show. Ready, and break.
Well, hold on to that question for just one second, because you made me think of something that I think is like an interesting. I just kind of realized this, and when you're talking, yes, you do have like the different velocities, and we've all been in like training environments where you're like, I can see this person is getting the most out of it, and this person is bored or whatever. It's like nothing to them. Um, it's like I can think of those environments where it's really beneficial to have like you do have that maybe second instructor who is, while the majority of people are learning the foundational principles of whatever it is, firearms or making entries or something like that, you also have like maybe a secondary instructor who's providing like little tidbits of fine tuning things that challenge that one
Mm-hmm.
individual, or those handful of individuals who are like just they're just crushing what they're already doing, right? But you have this upper, kind of this higher threshold of competence, and you have an instructor that's kind of in their ear every rep or every other rep, giving them something to strive for,
Mm-hmm.
to let them know, because they those hard chargers are thriving on that elusive carrot. Like they want to, like, that's the whole reason they get into these, elite groups and things like that, is because they want to be perfect at something that you cannot perfect. Like they want it's just the challenge of doing that. And so if you keep giving someone some thread of feedback that they're not doing it perfectly, it's like that little shot to keep them
Hmm.
going and stay plugged in. So anyway, your question though.
Well, I'll comment on that.
Okay.
So that's how I also align for sports practice drills to go. You got a conductor with a whistle who's just keeping the drill moving,
Hmm.
and then there's a coach.
Yeah.
So coach, say you shoot, coach is giving you feedback. Quick, here's one cue to take it into the next rep. So going back to that feedback
Hmm.
loop, you're just focusing on one thing to fix, going into the next rep. And so coach is working hard while the conductor is keeping things moving and operating. So those two working together,
Hmm.
that's when the magic happens. But as soon as conductor kills the drill to coach one kid, guess where everybody else's brain goes?
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So if, yeah, those two folks can work together, and we both been in teaching situations where we got to do both.
Yeah.
And that's where now a new term I throw out is between the whistles is so valuable. So I can see, I got still lead the group, but see one person's bored. Okay, water break, time out, or we're moving
Yeah.
on. Then I go find that person and try to keep them invested or comment or something to
Yeah,
keep them
it's a
invested.
lot to ask of one coach. And that's, I mean, and of course, but that's the situation that most people find themselves in is like there's no one else to like hand off to. But like even if you have like at least in some police capacity, if you have a team leader or somebody,
That's the team
yeah.
captain. So eventually you hand off those coach
Hmm.
responsibilities to each other.
Yeah. And then you have that person proctoring the basics and you're kind of fine tuning the details that you want to see. I find that to be a better dynamic than if you do the reverse, which is like a team leader or, you know,
That's easier, but that's selfish coaching because
yeah,
you want to get into the
yeah,
nuance, the nitty gritty, and then have some
yeah,
person just blow the whistle.
yeah,
Or, hey, go when he goes, or go when he gets to this cone.
hmm,
They're going to lose track and they're doing this. It's,
yeah,
want a clean drill to yeah, enforce these feedback loops and then work into handing off the communication to the kid.
hmm,
Similar. Glad we're aligned.
hmm.
So how do you learn?
I don't know how I learn. I don't know if I do learn. I don't know if I'm,
Am I real? Is this real?
I don't know. I mean, how do we, where this is, we all know this is just a simulation anyways, right?
No, I
Yeah,
disagree.
yeah.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. I don't know if I've ever. I think I learn best by doing. What is it? Kinesthetic, probably. Is by physically doing. I also really noticed that one of the things I like to, and obviously you do this for sport a lot, is just throw positions up on a board, and I really enjoy like almost like an aerial view of, especially if you're talking about entries or warrant services or something like that, where it's like, okay, you're looking at all the pieces in place. Here are the assets that you have, and like, here's how we're going to position everybody. Here's how the flow is going to look, And I like, I just like that aerial view. I find that my brain can process that the best, almost like from a bird's eye
Hmm.
perspective. But aside from that, I mean, I just think doing it is doing it is the not only is it the most fun doing it, but doing it is it's just I mean it's practical, right? Like that's why you do a practical. It's
Hmm. We're moving, we're learning.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're like a physical person like we are, where it's you'd like to train generally, you are plugged in when your body is in motion, right? When if you're not, you're just kind of like, this is so boring.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a cut and dry answer there, but try anything. If it works, can't argue with results, right?
Hmm. Everything works, just not forever. Yeah. What this is where I started to tap into adult learning, and there's something I love to reference. It's called Bloom's taxonomy. This is where learning objectives, and we were talking about learning objectives for our exactly falling asleep. presentation.
Oh my god.
Well, there's
Here we go, Professor Tex.
the base is remember. So where coaches they speed through like the details, the setup, and they just want to get to the execution,
Mhm.
and they're
That's
just
me.
talking at people.
Mhm.
But how important is the setup and the foundation, the
I know.
base for shooting?
I know.
It's
I know.
everything. So now, same for with any skill. So, and also where to go. So alignment, assignment, technique. Here's where you need to go, what you need to do, and if kids can't remember that, people can't remember that,
Mhm.
then the whole thing's a wash.
The whole
So
system falls apart.
yeah. So then what I found is just focusing on here's where you go and what to do.
Yeah.
And then when there's a more advanced kid or the kids like finally start to get it and then their attention goes off, then I add the why.
Yeah.
Senex, start with why. I get it, I understand it, but like with a fast moving group or a younger group, like we just
Or
gotta
me.
you just gotta make
Somebody
sure
with
you're moving well.
a shorter attention span, or people who are just physical people and like to move. Like I just, yeah, I mean, yes, I went through like a rifle school recently where this one guy was telling me I can just he just said to me like I can tell you're so bored and you're like when can we just shoot this already. Like it's like it yeah, I mean, but again I know how important it is, and obviously when you're dealing with a weapon there's a lot of safety concerns. It's not just about getting out there and executing well or performing well. It's there's a lot of other variables to think of when you're on the range, but yeah. But it does beg the question, like, since you asked me,
Hmm.
how did you know what kind of learner you were? Like, what brought you to that realization? Because the turntables are turning now.
The well, just thinking about athletic career school and then where the or finding a topic where it's just like I'm interested. I'm gonna dive in. I want to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the finding that bigger picture and I mean asking those questions, always being that dude. Why are we doing this in weight room?
Mm-hmm.
Why where's this in the field? And what pissed me off, and I'll call Kojo out on this, when we were players, we would do a specific drill in lacrosse and it'd be like, this doesn't make any sense. This is not making us better. And it's like a drill in practice is just one piece
Mm-hmm.
of ultimately a scheme or a
Yeah.
play or
I've
how we
heard that
do
a
things.
lot of times in training.
Oh, it's why are we doing this? This
Yeah.
is stupid.
Yeah.
And then fighting and pushing
Yeah.
back with coach.
Yeah. I've
So
been that person asking that question, like, why are we doing this? It's a drill. It's a one piece of a much bigger context. And it's like, you're like, well, then show me the context already.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So coach was whether he didn't want to at the time or whatever it was, this particular coach, and then Colin needed the why. But
Yeah.
me, I'm more like, okay, I'm gonna execute, and then me moving, I'll find where this fits in our game. So
Yeah, you're kind of, I
versus
can
being
see you.
told
I
what
can see you just kind of like consuming, and like trusting, consuming that this is going to everything's,
I'll
hey, this person has my best interest at heart. And then the world just beat you down.
eventually.
Yeah,
Not
where
in
you're like,
college. I had a
we're
great
like, wait,
environment.
that coach had no idea what the hell he was talking about. But but are
Well,
you,
one note on that, and what I did want to get to is meeting people where they're at and how to find and navigate
yeah.
that conversation. That coach was where I was at because he went from high school to coaching college, but I was only playing for, I don't know, 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
16 months at this point. So he was meeting me where I was at,
Mm-hmm.
but Mr. Prep School Kojo, he was well beyond this. So,
That's a
in
shot.
his
That is quite the
defense,
shot. Ooh,
hey,
shots
he,
fired.
yeah, he'll own that. But
Okay.
so, in that coach's defense, he was keep teaching at my level,
Sure.
the lowest denominator.
Yeah.
When he, yeah, could, I don't know.
Yeah. He could have been like, Colin, shh, we'll tell you later.
No, you don't tell Colin to shush.
Oh,
So, he could have just been like, Tex, we'll catch you up later.
yeah. Yeah.
Just do what the guy in front of you
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
But
So would you say like then you are a art, because I thought we were talking about like
I
physical
want to make
learner,
I want to
a
make the connections versus somebody just telling me.
yeah, what kind of learner is that?
I don't
That's
know.
not a kind. That's like a whole
I'm
sentence.
one of a kind.
I thought we were talking I thought we were talking about like an audible learner or like a visual or a kinesthetic where you're moving and doing. I thought that's what you were talking about. I mean, it can be both,
It can be
right?
anything.
I know you are let me just tell people a little bit about you because I don't think that people they probably get an understanding of you in this capacity as a coach, but doesn't matter if you're talking about coaching or it's like a good story or maybe a song or a book that you read. You write down a lot of stuff. You write down a lot of stuff. And you're going to write that down, aren't you? You're going to write down that
Write
you write down a lot of stuff.
down
Don't forget it.
a lot.
But it's true. It's like one of the ways that and I do think you're one of the few people, like I've written down stuff in the past. It's like, yeah, maybe I'll come back to this one day and look at it. But I think you actually do like go back in your
Oh
notes
yeah.
and reflect more. And that's from early days. Like this is like DuPont days where it'd be like, we might be doing like a CrossFit football workout or something. And there was something that like gave you an idea or something, maybe for a training thing. And you would actually go back and refer to a workout that you had written down or something. And it's like, you've always done that though.
Uh-huh. So to quote Steve Jobs, creativity is in the connections. So you can start to connect a lot of dots that aren't necessarily there.
This just became just one more podcast out there. You're quoting Steve Jobs, you're wearing a vest.
You seen the Charlie Day?
The only thing that's different is the sweet background, but
This is nice.
Charlie Day, who I confused with Ryan Day
Ryan Day,
from Ohio
coach.
State. Yeah.
Same guy,
Yeah.
same madness.
Yeah, but it just funny because I don't think people recognize like you're very into words and the I guess the meaning of words, the meaning of
Well, words matter.
words matter, I know. And you're a big quote person. So if there's a quote that resonates with you, you always go back to it and refer to it. And I'm not just saying that because the Steve Jobs thing, but it's because you really remember a lot of quotes, like a lot. So anyway, it's just kind of an aside.
Mm-hmm.
Part of your learning process is just jotting that stuff down.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a word hoarder. So then I guess we brought it up, but meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to give feedback, receive feedback, train new people, enter into stressful situations with people that you got to trust quick.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your approach to, okay, how do I level set on this person so we can meet them where they're at, so we can accelerate our communication and trust and
This is such a long question. I don't, yeah, I mean,
it's,
the thing is,
I've only been doing this 100
I know you're
times.
so adept at like asking these involved questions. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's all, it's like any other work environment, except there's, like I said, the stakes are higher. And so you just, you kind of, I, there's so much ego involved that I like to give people a benefit of the doubt until they kind of prove you wrong, And I think we're all adults though. We're not on a sports team. We're not like this isn't, a weekend Warriors softball game. This is like, we're coming in and doing a job. We're going home. Some people are stressed out from what's going on in their life. And it's like when you talk about like, there's so much fluctuation in people's life, whether it's how they're feeling, if they're injured, how, what their home life is like, what they're stressed about. Like you know, you give them grace until they really screw up in front of you, and then you call them out on it, and it is really that simple. Like, I think, I don't want to overcomplicate because these are just guys, gals coming in and doing their job. I mean, I don't, and it's not the NFL. You look at cops, a lot of them are not the hardest chargers. They're people probably, if you went and talked to people who've been on a SWAT team for 20 years, they'd have a different answer. Um, and while, I have worked with very talented people, I mean, ultimately you just, you want people to assess themselves for where they're truly at and are honest about that and then you put them in a position to succeed. And that's it. Like when you have time, you train, and you don't. I think that that's ultimately it. Like we're never gonna have the time to train even as much as your lacrosse players, and that's just the sad truth of it. It is just that's just the reality. If people have an option to go home and be with their families, especially in the unit that I'm currently leaving, it's like if they have the option to go home with a little free time that they have and be with their families, or you have this optional training thing, I'm gonna say that a lot of them, if they haven't spent a lot of quality time with their family, they're gonna choose their family, and can you blame them, you know? And so, while we can get into the nitty-gritty of trying to, like, assess people and, make sure that they're, performing at this certain standard, that I feel like that's in law enforcement, that standard's always changing too, and the people that are coming into law enforcement, the type of person is changing both physically, mentally, generationally. So it's like, yeah, you have this bar that's moving, and like I said, I kind of put a lot of weight on somebody if they come in and they say they're feeling like shit they're feeling like crap for any given reason. You put them in a position to succeed with where they're at that day. Um, because sometimes you just don't know what's going on with them, and it's a job for them, and you want them to make it home safe. You want to make it home safe, and you work within the confines of what you're capable of that day.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as like, I don't how many players are on a lacrosse team?
Depends. 20, 40, 50.
20, 40, 50, right? But like it's you can't but how many players are on a field at one time?
11.
11. Okay. So 11 people on a field at one
10.
time.
11's football. Sorry.
Okay.
I
Who
panicked.
who the hell do you think you are?
Well, sometimes I wander onto the
Who are
field
you?
to thank the refs.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what you can do with 11 people, 10 people. Okay? You know what you can do with 10 people. You know what positions need to be filled. And sometimes in police work, depending on what your job is, you only get 4 people. So what are you going
Mm-hmm.
to do with those 4 people? Those roles change dramatically, right? It just becomes like the priorities change, what you expect from what can a person physically do. If you're talking about sending 4 people to go manage a protest, you're going to approach that with a totally different posture and tactic than you would if you had a group of 24 people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like that's just the reality of the situation. And so that's why I think there are comparisons that you can make between sport, law enforcement, and probably military up into a point, and then it starts to fall apart, right? And that's just I don't want to perpetuate that these things are so similar because they are up into a point, a physical performance standpoint, but it's just not. That's a tangent. Went a long tangent, but that's just the reality of it. So yeah, kind of reiterating, just like have those people that can be honest with themselves and you about where they're at physically, mentally, all that stuff, and then just work with what you got, like both numbers and mentally. And if your gut is telling you like something's going on with this person or whatever, just put them in a position to succeed. Don't ostracize them. That's different. But like put them, all right, you're going to be driving the cage car. We all know what that means. Like you're transporting the prisoner. We don't need you in a foot pursuit if you're all jacked up from, some injury or, you know what I mean? So, anyway, long answer. And I know that's not what you want to hear, which pains me because
I don't think I have any set answer
I know, but I know
I'm
it's
looking
just
for.
there is a structure I know to like, but I just want to be honest with people. And I don't know how many people who watch the podcast, listen to it, are law enforcement, but I mean, in my 10 years, that's just been my experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel the key word to pick up by there is grace. So where there's leadership in sports, I think a connection can be made with that. Because a lot of people are stepping onto the field and they're not removing themselves from the day to day. They're bringing that to sports.
Mm-hmm.
So one, give themselves grace, like you are coaching for the kids, the people in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just aim to leave that behind us. But then if you notice a teammate stepping out of bounds within their behaviors, give them grace and get to separate. So one thing I've been aiming to do is intentionally increase kids' social awareness. So it's not just me being angry at them. I give them a number where I'm at, where it's like 8, 9, 10. You cross the line.
Out of
Like
20? What are we talking?
10.
It's
And
so
then
generic. Why not 11? Like in football.
like like football or
Or you.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah. Nice.
That's what it took me a second there.
Nice.
Slow feedback loop, but I'm surprised you've seen that movie. Based off our
I know. Well,
previous
you're referencing
conversations.
movies that you're referencing such obscure movies. Like you gotta I know Spinal Tap's not that obscure, but throughout the
That's the
day to day,
most obscure one.
you have just been all over the place.
Big Daddy is not that.
It it's not
If you don't get something, all you have to say is sick reference, bro. You don't know what it is, but I'll feel good about myself.
okay. All right. Back to it. So you give these kids a number and telling them where you are at, like in terms of your patience level or
And then
your.
they can connect it to their decisions or their behaviors.
Okay, let's do a role play because I'm not fully seeing this. Okay, so let's say to you, what's an example is like I am dilly dallying. Do people still say that? I'm just over there, just you
Yeah.
know, dilly dallying on the sideline when I'm supposed to be out there running suicide. You know, probably don't call them well, running line drills or whatever it is, and I'm ignoring you, and you're telling me to get my ass out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then you come up to me and you say what?
Well, did you listen the first time? If
No.
it's no,
Listen to
then
what? Bruh. Okay.
yeah, and then it's as simple as, yeah, Callie, I'm at a 7. We're running. We're gonna do an extra lap because you're failing to listen. Well, I'd probably ask them what's going on, and then lead with that, and being like, you're testing my patience right now. I'm at a
I'm at a
7.
7.
We're gonna add one more rep if you continue to do this. So highlight the negative behavior, and then aim to put them in bounds. Then I'm gonna be at an 8, and then everybody's running. Something
That's
like
what you
that.
do? You would say that?
Yeah. So then the numbers are important because the kids
What
get
if I'm like, I don't give a about your 7,
well.
Coach
Then
McQuilkin? Do you think I care?
well they need to be separated from the group because there's something else going on.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I probably just need a hug at that point. I'm probably just a kid that needs a hug.
so this is where I would differentiate behaviors because then that's acting out. They trust me enough to basically be an asshole to me, so they are looking for attention.
You think you've got this whole parenting thing figured out, don't you? You're just gonna
I'm
be
uncle.
I know. You've got a
What
system,
is a
as Luke would say.
coach
You
but if
think you've
not
got
an
this
uncle?
whole thing just nailed down. And honestly, it sounds pretty good. It actually sounds
Well, that's
good.
acting out, but acting in.
Oh my God. That's like such a 2026 term, like acting in. Don't act out, act in.
No, you don't want them acting. That's even worse
Oh.
because that's the internal.
Oh, okay. I see.
So
Where you're
now they
like
are self-destructing.
self-loathing.
And so that'd be the kid, the Callie, that's acting out. I call them out, and they stare at me, and then they go do exactly what? But it's just this
They're thinking,
resentment.
yeah. And those are the kids that do really crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, and then you see them when the volcano goes off, and they take their stick, and they're hitting against their head,
Oh my
or
God.
they miss a shot, and it's just break their freaking stick.
Yeah.
So
It
they
could
did
just be
everything they asked.
could it just be testosterone? That's like a huge variable with your
In Austin?
kids. You're gonna lose a lot of followers in ATX. Oh, that's a shot.
I know, I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's differentiating. So I wouldn't punish the team for a kid that is like starts to. So that then I start to build that resentment amongst the whole team. So it's just what is the action? What is their decision? What's their behavior? Then I make a decision to what's the next step?
I like the number thing. I have to say what it does.
Well, well,
Go
where
on.
they're so this comes down to if they're if we're able to have the conversation, they're not at an 8. They're at a 7, and we can talk them down to, okay, well, let's get in line,
But you're the coach. You're at the 7, right? Is that what you're
what?
talking
Yeah. So I
about? Okay.
try to
Oh, I see.
do that, and then I know when they're at an 8, 9, or 10 because they're not listening to anybody, and they continue to act out or break stuff.
Hmm.
Well, that's limbic brain. They're in survival mode, fight, flight, freeze. So what we need to do is move. So then I separate them from the group. It's be like, go meet me at the south end zone, and I'll meet you there. So then just have them sprint, jog, run, whatever, get away from the group, and then I can walk down there. So give them time to cool down.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is two things. One, I can meet them at an 8 and talk them down. That's probably not a good idea. But then what do most coaches do in authority figures, not just coaches, authority figures, they come in at a 9 if he's at an 8, and they try to force.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
the
I've
two volcanoes are going
seen
off.
that a lot. You see that a lot in police work where it's like comes down to it's kind of a like a it can come down to like a shameful pissing match between an officer and a suspect where there's like this power struggle, and you and I have talked about it on that first podcast where you're like, what is happening here? I think we all know who's in charge.
Well, yeah.
It's like, why even bother trying to
The
like,
first one that gets to 11's in charge.
yeah, yeah. Well, apparently we were like, you're like, does it need to be like, yeah. I mean, but trust me, everyone, depending on how your day is going, you get to that point where you're like, it just feels better if I'm louder. you know, I feel more powerful if I'm screaming. And so, you know, that's how I raise my kids. No. No, but it's yeah, it's just the number thing is like a cool concept. It reminds me of Breakfast Club where the guys though was like, "You want two more? I'll give you two more." It's like, "You mess with the bull, you get the horns." Old Bull, brought to you by Old Bull. That quote from
7-day free
Breakfast Club.
trial at thecaptainsandcoaches.com.
Yeah, this is you get. I mean, it's good insight. It's like amazing. You have thousands of these stories, these like coaching colloquialisms that
Let's get a
write it down. I knew
title.
you're gonna write that down.
It's the title of the
I
episode.
know that's a coffee table
Spelling.
book right there. Don't We'll come back to the spelling. But yeah, you just have so many of these, and I'm not like tooting your horn or anything, but it's amazing. Like this is just what we were talking about on our hike earlier, is that you've amassed so much knowledge and experience in this topic where it's like you have a coaching, um, I don't know, an experience. Yeah, what's the word I'm thinking of here? Yeah, like not a story. There's a thing. There's a word for it. I'm trying to think of it. But anyway, you have one of those for virtually every coaching problem, any cliche or common coaching issue. You have seen it over and over. You've done it, and it's pretty amazing. And I think I'm like, when you do become a parent, you will be well equipped. You have a system. It's just like, you know,
We'll really stress test it, but then it's different age group.
yeah.
But then that's where the kids showing
Anecdote. That's the word I was thinking of. Anecdote.
anecdote.
You have an anecdote for like all of the coaching kind of like
s-
main principles. Like you've got
I still
tons of
get
them.
surprised.
What's surprise? Yeah.
Parent.
Oh, okay. I try to surprise you.
Well, you are a parent, and you just
Parents can
surprise me.
surprise you. Parents are grown. They're just taller, bigger children. That's all
Uh-huh.
they are. And it's like, why should that surprise you? But then they get this like sense of I can do whatever I want because I have all this money now and I
Or you're
do
really
whatever I want
important in your world
in
or
your
job,
world. Yeah.
so then that makes you a
Yeah.
great coach.
Yeah. It's just we are all just children. We're all still children. And none of this is real. It's all just a simulation.
I'm
So why get
having
stressed out about your kids making the damn lacrosse team or, being a starter or whatever it is, or, it's just like, holy smokes, would you pump the brakes? And I want you to remind me of this in like 10 years when my oldest kid is like really getting competitive in sports, because I'll be like that mom on the sideline who's just like charging the field in this simulation we call life.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can
It
do whatever you
doesn't.
want.
Nothing matters though. Well, nothing matters. Yeah. I'm not gonna like go out there and arrest someone, but I would. No.
Depends on.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, no, it's just funny how serious parents take all this stuff. But anyway, you deal with that stuff all the time. But
Uh-huh.
oh,
So,
can I ask you a question?
no,
No. Okay. That's fine.
I'm kidding.
That's fair. No, but like why I'm just curious why you went from coaching adults to college level to now kind of adolescence, and that seems to be like your niche now to me. And it's I know I know kind of peripherally that it has a lot to do with your formative years and how that shaped your progression in sport. And so I'm assuming it has something to do with that being kind of that time for potency in terms of impressionable and all that stuff. But like, is that why you've chosen this kind of age bracket?
Yeah, I can sum it up. Just be the coach I needed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So high school had very transactional coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So their aim was, yeah, dictate and control your performance, despite of who you were, to then maintain their jobs.
Sure.
And then had a transformational coach, to use research language.
Mm-hmm.
Dude completely volunteered his time. And
I
he
thought
was,
you were talking about me. I'm like, I'm right here.
no.
Just use my name. No.
Well, hey, the DuPont, that was a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to
But we had a
interrupt.
lot of freedom to create something special.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Culture, community. Yep.
yeah. And then, yeah, coach from Long Island. And then we started our lacrosse team because we felt we were leaders and winners. And our football, just a wash. And they were telling us our performance. So then, yeah, start our team. And then we showed up in Houston, had a very small but tight knit lacrosse community. And so we just showed up to their like adult league
Mm-hmm.
and being like, we want to start a team. We need a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then, funny, hilarious dude from Long Island, big personality, just like, where do we live? We're on Katy. And his nephew played for our rival football team, and he was aware of just the
It's so
freaking,
random, right?
I mean, this
One in a million.
so random, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he was aware of just the freaking cultural abuse within the sport, and his nephew was putting up with it because he was starting and then winning a state championships, and then there was us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted a lacrosse team that was close to his nephew's community. We were his nephew's age, who I've, yeah, since met, and he's a good dude too. So yeah, he just then gave his time to us.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And you were
we
like, I want to replicate this.
sucked. Yeah, we sucked.
Yeah.
But then he just kept giving us opportunities, and then he wasn't lying to us. He was in his joking, jabbing, Long Island
Sure.
banter
Is it true? And then you're
manner.
like, yeah, it's kind of true. We do kind of suck.
Yeah. But he kept us coming back. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and then we established, because we were all great attitude,
Mm-hmm.
dudes that loved each other. And yeah, we established a program and built a program within 2 years. And then I went off to go play in college. And then here we are 20 plus years later, and the team, the community, it's still there.
Yeah.
From
That's
what
amazing.
a bunch of rambunctious
But
rejects
why
started.
now? Like, why return to as an adult?
Well,
Just because of that experience, you're like, I just want.
Well, yeah, and it's still being, that position of power is still being abused.
Mm-hmm.
For the high school age, it's still, in many areas, transactional. It's
Yeah.
still, you get these people that are pumping out lies to these kids, so parents are writing bigger checks,
Mm-hmm.
and then that kid doesn't go to the Division I school.
Mm-hmm.
So then he, she, whoever, because it's just as nasty within club volleyball, but they told themselves they're going to be this identity of a Division I volleyball, lacrosse, basketball, whatever, and then they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
How are they looking at themselves?
It's like a
A failure.
Saka. Mm.
Then they go to, a major university, get into like substance, because then that is okay. I feel good doing this, and then we just spiral down, and then they are.
That's a dark turn. That's a real. Then I
But it's
see them
real.
out there on Aurora Avenue North, and you know what I'm talking about if you're from Seattle. No, uh,
But
yeah.
it's your self belief, and then a label that someone put on you, and then unfortunately you chose to believe it.
Okay, so
But through the coaching lens, that is the responsibility. Going back to coach's
hmm
responsibility and why that lecture we used to teach was so important. It's like your words matter. When people are coming to you, they have a certain level of trust that maybe you earned or maybe you didn't, but you have it. And how are you utilizing your power as a coach? Time out. I get 2.5. This one's all about training. I'm talking about my Old Bull strength and conditioning program that I have available on Train Heroic. This is Training with Wisdom. It's the program that I am following. I understand who you are. You don't have a lot of time. You're a busy leader and you're beat up from years of athletics, years of training. Here in this program, we target hips, ankles, knee, back health with the barbell. We have fun variations of the squat in the programs, Sexy Fridays, bodybuilding. It is an amazing time. It'll keep you engaged, it'll keep you involved, and keep you on a wise program that keeps you coming back for more instead of digging you a hole you can't come out of that affects life outside of training. Come check us out for a 7-day free trial in the Old Bull program. A link in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, just click right here. All right, and now back to the show. Ready, and break.
so we were talking a lot about the value of truth. So my question is, and this goes back to your whole purpose, what you just described as being pretty much like worst case scenario for any youth athlete. Um, can you live in a and you talked about the coach's responsibility lecture and how educating and uh trying to tap into coaches to improve communication and really like try to pull out the best in them so they can give the best to the kids. Can you live in a world where, like, let's say all these like this athletic justice that you're seeking for these kids and stuff, which is kind of,
It's a
you can,
better
I
title.
know you're going to write it down, athletic justice that you're seeking, like, could you exist in this environment if the justice was never served? If it never, would you still seek it? And can you live in a coaching world and environment, and this is pretty cynical, I'm gonna just tell you the honest truth though, where there's just a lot of coaches, and I would say almost a majority, that are not even thinking on that level of impact. They may not be like the worst coaches in the world where they're not doing it for ego. They're not out there like loving hearing themselves talk or anything, but they're just not, it's not a passion that they're trying to improve. They're just there because they love the sport, and it's like very surface level. And not to the detriment, but it's like they're not making the impact. They're not out there trying to right some wrong, which, and I'm not trying to like minimize your experience, but it is ultimately what you're doing. And like how does it feel? How would it feel to know that, like, man, that sounds like really shitty now that I asked you, but like
No, it's
there's
fine.
just so many coaches that are like,
Uh-huh.
I'm just here to collect a paycheck, so to speak. And maybe they're not getting paid, but they're like, I'm just here because I just want to watch
Or
my kid play.
yeah, that'd be if they're there to watch their kid play, that's pretty good. But there's also a lot of college level coaches that they're too far gone on their career path. There's nothing else they can do, so they hate their lives, they hate their job, and they're still there.
Oh my God, that's so true. And
So
they're just going to
that's where my mind
conferences, getting
went.
smashed. I've seen those dudes too. And they're just like living out of suitcases. And I get it. I get it.
So those exist.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went when you just continued to go down this. pit of despair.
But I just wanna be honest because
No, but that's real.
it's real. And we're just we have a like I said with we were talking about police work, like, I truly value just honesty, and so I just think that is the situation,
Hmm.
you know?
So the answer to athletic justice, there's still going to be the one that does listen,
Mhm.
and that that's a win.
Like, if I can touch just one person.
And then
Yeah.
that's where people stand on the shoulders of giants.
It's true.
You had that opportunity. There's been people in your lives and in your careers and your experience that have then done that for you.
Yeah.
That matters. So then how can I, and this goes back to the feedback loop, and that feedback loop I started with, where there's the rebel. There's a lot of coaches, they're going to be know and understand the message I'm saying, but when it comes to apply, they don't have the confidence or the belief in themselves to
Mhm.
deliver it. So they're going to be like, no, that's garbage.
Mhm.
So they'll rebel and they'll build that bubble for themselves until it bursts.
When do you
And then
think is the prime time where a coach really, like, starts to be like, "Oh, this isn't just
self-aware.
as easy as blowing a whistle and all this stuff."
Oh,
Well, maybe not self-aware, but, like, where they're kinda like they start to Google, all right, coaching lacrosse techniques and team dynamics and all that stuff. And then they find you like, where in the evolution does that happen? And like, how do you like harness that? Because it happens because I mean, I would imagine like anything else, you sort of hit a roadblock, you taper off and you're like, oh, I got this one issue or I got this where they're like, I guess I'll Google it. What does Chat GPT say about? Yeah.
well, I did create a chat GPT for, I'll link this up in the show notes.
So
I
shameless
can't
plug.
remember the stupid thing I called it, but it's like when you run into a problem with an athlete that you can't solve.
I hate
But I,
Chat GPT so much. Like, we don't need to get on a rant, that's a whole other podcast, but I'm like, when the robots take over, no one will be surprised, me least of all, because we're all just relying on Chat GPT.
well, to
You've
go
been
back to
warned.
your earlier question, yes, for the one and where, I mean, there's a lot of people on this similar mission. So shout out Jim Davis, Good Athlete Project. So then it's leaning into more and more research that does start to come out for specifically coaching and then connecting it to sport. So it's
Yeah,
finding the people that are doing the work, highlighting
yeah,
them, and then allowing them to articulate. So this is,
yeah, his organization, very much it's like the messaging in terms of, like, providing the coaches the tools to communicate better with the youth, it's very aligned with what you are doing. It's very similar in terms of, like, his I mean, I know his, um their end goal is kinda a little bit different, but it's a lot of the same. It's cool to see because much like you, he's a smart guy. I mean, you guys are very aligned in like I mean, he has seen tangible impact from this, and I know you have too. And just because I'm sitting here on the sidelines and I'm like throwing out this pessimistic stuff, it's because I also live in the real world too, and
mhm,
I'm a little more cynical. So,
yeah. And just a full circle moment. I'm coaching high school with one of his former high school athletes.
oh really?
Yeah, that went on to play at like a very
Oh,
dominant
so
lacrosse program.
he's like super young guy who's just becoming a coach now. He was one of his athletes then, one of
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny. That's cool.
crazy small world.
Well, that's cool. That just goes to show you, I guess there's good
He's
people
like,
out
I've heard all
there
this before.
doing good. Yeah, exactly. It's like doing good
That sounds
things.
familiar,
Well, all right. There's the one person that Jim Davis
but it's all
has
it takes.
impacted. No.
It's one, and
Yeah.
now I work with him. And well, there's also people that identify it as a problem, but they don't know a solution exists.
Hmm.
So if I'm trying to scream down that pit of despair at the coach that is refusing to listen, is wearing earmuffs, or also doesn't believe that this change can happen, then that's not my that's not my people.
Yeah.
There are athletic directors that have to deal with those cynical coaches that have to manage the problems, the conflict, the communication, issues those coaches are having, and so they have to deal with it. So
Mhm.
now I can connect great with athletic
Yeah,
directors
yeah,
because here's a solution for uh, the coaches that are not willing to listen.
yeah.
Because now I can equip and work with and this is the workshops I was sharing with you, where it is for the student athlete to equip them with the tools to present conflict, create uh, some scaffolding in their own brain of confidence, of a toolkit to not listen when their coach is a jerk to them, and then know who they
Earmuffs.
are. Well, not ignoring, not putting their head in the sand, but hearing that and then realizing that's not who I am. Why is this person saying that to
Mhm.
me? And refusing to believe that. So giving them some confidence structure tools
Unless
for
it's true,
conflict.
which we unless some of that negative feedback's true and they're like, "Hey, you're late every day."
Well, there's constructive feedback,
Yeah.
and then there's lying to them,
Yeah,
not
I
in a
guess
good
when we
way.
were talking about this earlier, not to but that's one of the things too where I just don't want to see parents and have there be an environment where it's like a kid feels like they can do no wrong, right? Where it's just like, no, you are perfect and just because your coach says that you need to work on your endurance or whatever, it's like, no, these are quantifiable
Mhm.
performance metrics. And yeah, you actually do need to work on your conditioning or you need to work on your speed or whatever it is. So that's something that like I'm like,
To
I just feel like maybe societally we were like leaning.
well, to put a direction towards that. So, Dr. David Yeager, Captains and Coaches Podcast alum,
I am powering down. No, I'm just
research.
kidding.
So he targets three mindsets for mentors to step in, where the first mindset you're talking about now is very common in parents. It's a protector mindset where they're super high support but low expectations, low belief.
Hmm.
So why are they so overprotective? It's because they believe their kid is a dud.
Yeah.
So then they go over the
God, that
top.
is just the worst. I can't imagine having a parent like if my
Oh, they
parents thought that
exist.
about me, man, God, that's so gutting.
So there's also the enforcer parent, mentor, coach. That's high expectations and low support.
Don't know anything about her.
Her.
I mean them.
So then, yeah, then there's ideal, mentor, high expectations, high support.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I want to aim to be.
Mhm.
That's where I want to
That's, yeah,
be.
reset, next shot. Here we
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
go. Yeah, so there are people that they've identified this as a problem. There's people that are aiming to either shine a light on it or do the research to give the people tools before this, I mean, truly is ripple effects into the future leaders of America.
Yeah.
So,
Whoa, that is pretty humble of you to say you are raising the future leaders of
well, I was
America.
told to think bigger.
Yeah, well, that's pretty big. The leaders of the free world, I'd say that you're, yeah, setting the bar.
It's gonna be a lax, bro. Let me tell you.
Oh my God. It probably will be. Oh, well,
Powering down.
yeah, I'm stoked for you. 100 episodes. And if this airs at 103, I will not be surprised. Given historically what you said.
I'll aim to, well, no, there is no try. I heard that in a movie once.
Yeah, Dark Vader.
Well, shout out Luke.
Yeah.
Jokes are still funny.
Yep, they're all mine.
Well, we'll call that a show.
Yeah. I hope there's a lot of quote worthy stuff. I know there is. You've jotted down quite a bit.
I mean, I don't know what to call this. Coaching colloquials.
Colloquialisms. Calliope. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. It's been a pleasure.
Well, it's been real. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been real fun. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again in 200.
See you at 200. I will be 100 years old.
That's a dig. I'll still be around then. That's a bonus.
Simulation.
All right.
So.
And scene.
Magic in editing. Good job, Tex.